Knitty Cats Podcast, episode 21. If you're a returning viewer, it's so nice to see you again. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Julie, and I'm coming to you from the base of the Colorado Rocky Mountains, the Foothills really. And it's a beautiful evening, something new for me. I've never podcasted in the evening before. But it is summer, and it is very hot, so I hope it goes okay. It looks like maybe the sun is right on the lens, so we'll see. I'm just going to go with it because it's been a good amount of time and I want to just get it done. I like to exercise in the morning, so it does kind of tie up my mornings. And so I thought I'm going to try the evening. I never have. The sprinklers are on, so you're going to hear that. Enjoy that. I want to first say thank you for everyone who commented and entered the drawing for the prizes that I was giving for my 6,000 subscribers. First of all, thank you for subscribing. I cannot believe, nor did I ever think that I would get to 6,000 subscribers. And you guys are amazing. It is a milestone for me, and it just validates that I should keep going, basically. So I am going to keep going. I never thought I'd get here. And the winners are Robin C, 8600. I've already sent her package. Cindy Stephanie, or Cindy Stephan, 1649, sent hers. Lori, I've sent yours. Elaine Stone, I think you live in the UK. I will send you a Ravelry gift card. Just email me or direct message me on Instagram and tell me what pattern you'd like, and I'll send you. I think you have to send the gift card for that amount. So I will do that. And then Susie Rayner, I haven't heard from you either. So if you would contact me, email or Instagram, I will get the last package off to you. Deanna, I've sent yours. You were like immediate. And then Joyce Ford, I've sent yours too. So yay, I ended up giving away 7 prizes because I did have someone from the UK and I didn't want to mail it. So congratulations. Again, thank you for subscribing. It means a lot to me that you're watching and that you're enjoying the content. So thank you. I will jump right into knitting. I finished my top down. I don't know why. I'm going to rename this pattern because I can never remember what it is. Top down circular yoke pullover by Pearl Soho. And I wore this pattern 2 episodes ago in a open meshy kind of very drapey shabooey silk cloud, and I had a lot of comments on it. And I actually, now when I unpacked my summer clothes, I've made like 4 of these. I like it. It's very comfortable. This one I made out of the Dondo. It's silk and cotton, 75% silk and 25% cotton, or linen. It's 25% linen. And I literally probably had a yard of yarn left. I played yarn chicken like I've never played before. But I won. I wanted to mention something because so many people commented on the blue shabooey silk one that I made. How do I do the top? Because I pulled the top down. And it took me forever to figure it out. I had to call my sister, actually. So I'm going to tell you. So normally it asks you to cast on a certain number of stitches, and then you knit, then you knit for almost an inch, and then you do an increase round, and you end up with a certain number of stitches. Well, how I cast on this open neck, which I really like open necks, is you increase after the first increase. So let's say it asks you to cast on 50. These aren't the right numbers. It asks you to cast on 50 and knit for an inch, and then you increase to 75, and then you start the increases. I cast on at the 75 stitches with 1 size smaller needle. That's the trick. That's what I could never remember. People called me and asked me, and I'm like, I just don't remember. So that's the trick. You cast on after the first increase at that number with one size smaller needle, and then you knit for a round, knit for one round after that, and then go to the bigger needles and continue on. It's crazy, but that's how you do it. But I had a lot of comments because, you guys, it is super, super comfortable. I like this one because the increases aren't noticeable. This is super drapey. It's growing a little bit. It's the second time I've worn it since making it, and it's growing a little bit. So maybe it will a little bit more. Who knows? But I like the drapiness. It's super comfortable. It wasn't a lot of fun to knit because it didn't give very much, being silk and linen. But I'm done with it, and I don't really want to knit with it again. But it's beautiful, and I think it's very elegant. I wear it with white linen pants, and it's just kind of drapey and pretty. I like it a lot. The next thing I did is so that sound is the sprinklers, and I have grapevines on my fences going out to the green belts. And so the sprinklers from the green belt hit the huge leaves from the grapevines, and that's that big sound. So I like the sound, so I hope you do too. Enjoy it. The next thing I made was, the next thing I did is I fixed my top mesh shirt summer sweater called Square Dance. Do you remember last time I held it up? And it was just too far off the shoulders. Literally, it kind of hung. It looked very sloppy. So I had two options. I could either gather in make a little gather here on the sleeves and make it flare out, or I could pick up stitches and make a proper collar. Well, I tried the easier way of gathering. It looked terrible. I looked like a clown. I would have never ever wore it. So what I did is I went ahead just one evening and I picked up the stitches and knit a proper collar. And it was so easy, just one evening. And I knit this on the crochet top, and I actually think it looks really good because it lays better. Now you can do a rib stitch in crochet, and this is what it looks like. This is the bottom. See how much thicker it is? It's just chunkier, where this is very, I don't know, it's just very thin and finished. So I actually wore this over a maxi long thin knit dress, and it was super cute because this is kind of, big but open, and then the dress was thin. It looked really cute. So I'm glad I made it. I was kind of second guessing myself. I think if you remember, I told you that I looked like a plant in a macrame hanger. That's how I felt. But now it fits. It looks great. Again, that pattern is called Square Dance. And I thought it had actually called for ribbing here, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's just a one size fits all. So yeah, it's cute. I like it. And I wore it. The next thing I did is I made a Audrey sweater. Do you know how much I love the Audrey sweater? It's by Devin Bentry, and I have a little cat hair in here. And I had this summer yarn that I bought, and it's a Barocco summer yarn that it's 50% merino and 50% cotton. So I wanted to make something this summer, and I had enough to make a sweater. But the problem was it was DK, and the pattern for the Audrey sweater is worsted. Now, if you watch Devin, you've heard her talk about the Switcheroo worksheet. And I've always kind of been intimidated by it because I thought, this is going to be a lot of calculating, and why can't I just find a pattern, and I wish I just knew what to do. But I love this sweater so much I was determined to make it in DK because I've already made two in worsted, 1 3/4 sleeve, 1 long sleeve in wool winter, and I wanted a short sleeve, finer gauge sweater. So I set out to make the Audrey sweater with the Switcheroo worksheet, and it's so easy, so easy. So let me just show you the worksheet. So what you have to do is, I'm going to put a link in, and if you go to Devin's website, the Knitty McPurley website, and I'm going to put a link in the notes, in the details, that will take you right there, and it's free, so you just purchase it, but it's nothing, and then you download the worksheet. I made 6 copies today because I thought this was so good. I'm going to do it with a lot of patterns. So basically, it's just a little worksheet, and what you knit up a swatch of the fabric you'd like to make. So in the yarn you'd like to make, in the needle size you'd like to make, so that your fabric's how pliable you want it to be or how stiff you want it to be. You get the gauge that you want. And then you just measure it and plug it in, and I'm making it sound really complicated because this is how it was to me. And it's not. It literally took me, after I had my swatch done, it probably took me 3 minutes. So it's not hard. But basically then you just measure what your gauge is and what needle size you used, and I mean, it's so easy, and then it tells you what size in the pattern to make. I oversimplified it, but I don't want to make it more complicated either. Go to the website and you'll be able to download this, and I am telling you, it was so easy. I was shocked, and then I was convinced it wasn't going to work because it told me to make either 2 sizes bigger, 3 sizes bigger, one needle size down, and either 2 or 3 sizes bigger. Well, I thought, I surely don't need that many sizes bigger. So I did second guess myself and go down 1 size. And I wished I wouldn't have. I should have stuck to the Switcheroo worksheet because it would have turned out perfect. As it is, it turned out okay and actually really nice, but I blocked the heck out of it. It would have been much nicer had I just followed the directions, Julie. I don't follow directions very well, but it's beautiful. I wore it yesterday actually, and I wore this. This is my mom's, it's an opal and amethyst brooch. I love it. And so it's beautiful. Actually, why don't I just take a second and I'm gonna go put it on. So hold on. Okay, here it is. So you can see it actually fits really good. So maybe I was kind of in between two, and I went for the smaller one. I probably would have been okay either way. I feel like I've gotten to be a tighter knitter, and I don't know if that affects things, but anyway, it shouldn't. Enough about that. Make the Audrey sweater. You can pick it up the same time you're getting the Switcheroo worksheet. You'll see it has a beautiful collar. I love the collar. Can you see? It's this wide. It's not a twisted rib, it's just a regular rib. She has a really interesting increase. So the increases up here are really interesting and I think really pretty and elegant. I did make the short sleeve version. And I did a, what's it called? Italian bind off on the sleeves and also on the cuff. I can't talk after work apparently. I am brain dead, and it was a crazy day today. Some days are a little bit more stressful than others, and today was stressful. Being a business owner isn't always the most fun. Very rewarding. I have the most amazing group of people working. Sometimes it's just a lot. Today was one. So I love the sweater. I love wearing my mom's pin. I love pins. I think I talked to you guys about it before. I was thinking maybe my next giveaway, I have a whole bunch of pins that aren't precious gems and gold, but they're super cool and I don't wear, but they're beautiful. And I should give those away and you can choose which one you want. Maybe I'll do that. Because I like to wear a pin or a brooch. I think they add a lot of class to your outfit and they're very simple. People in our estates jewelry say, do people wear brooches and pins? And I say, yes, they do. And Kate Middleton brought them back with a fury. I mean, if you'll notice on her dresses, she wears a really pretty little brooch or pin sometimes, and I just think it's a very simple elegance. And we have some super cool ones in our estate department. I think I showed you the one from Russia, and all kinds of gems and diamonds and gold, and they're just beautiful. But I also have a lot that aren't precious gems and precious metals, and I'd like to give them away. So maybe that'll be next time. I need to do something with them. They're just in our vault and I need to give them away. Anyway, enough of that. I love my Audrey sweater. Support Devon and get the pattern. I think it's only $7 and use the Switcheroo worksheet. I'm so glad I figured it out. You guys, I can't tell you, it's almost like a freedom for me figuring out this worksheet because I've known about it for a long time. And I just never did it because I thought it's not going to work. And why do you want to go knit a whole sweater that doesn't work? I want to be fed things because of my lack of knitting time. But it didn't take me but 10 minutes at the very most. So anyway, that's that. I love this sweater and I love the color. Again, Barocco. I got it in Grapevine, Texas in January. and I really like it. I wanted to show you something super cool now. Are you ready for this? I am working on some socks for the sock club that I'm in, and I'll show you the socks. They're so much fun. Oh, maybe I don't have them marked. Yes, I do. I showed them last time. The Quinata socks. And I was so excited to knit these because the color is to die for. They are so pretty. I don't wear loud socks. I just don't. I like muted colors. So, for my socks anyway. But I started these socks and they're so much fun. I've learned a lot in this sock club. This was a lace sock. I never thought I would be able to knit a lace sock, but I'm almost done. I only have about an inch left of these socks. And they're so pretty. They have little mistakes in them, but very small. And what I did is, there's the heel. Socks don't look very good when they're not blocked, do they? I probably shouldn't even show them. But in order to get the lace pattern down, I had to knit, I had to do the leg shaft in double point needles. And I like double point needles. I'm actually getting kind of good at it. But the one thing that, there are many things about knitting 2 at a time socks, but the main thing is that they end up being the same size. One leg is just a teensy bit longer than the other. This one's a little bit longer, maybe by 3 rows. I don't know how I did that, but I don't think it'll matter that much. Now I'm back on, I did the heels, turned the heels, did the heels, and now I'm back on the double point needles because it's just faster and easier. I just didn't have the pattern down. I probably could have done it, but I was really interested in doing the double points as well. I wanted to mention something about pattern writing, and it's just me. I really like pattern writers when they type out their patterns to do it line by line rather than a big paragraph. So some people do a big paragraph, and this was like a lace panel in a paragraph. And I guess it wasn't. The leg was in the paragraph. And that's hard for me to digest, so I write it out. And so I wrote it out, and then I was able to do it. But I have to write it line by line. Isabel Kramer does that. All her patterns are line by line by line. Like, there are natural stopping places in a pattern or sections where you put a place marker. It's hard for me when you're like reading, place marker, some more place marker, and I'm like, wait, what line am I on? So I tend to write them out, and it worked for me. But I'm just proud of myself that I did that. But I had a discovery doing these socks. My sister had a makeup bag. I sent her a picture of this makeup bag. I'm like, we should get this makeup bag. We're going on a business trip. We should get these makeup bags. I don't know why I do that. Stupid. And so she bought it because she's actually going on another trip, and I didn't get one. I have to let my cat out. I'm sorry. She's sitting there staring at me like, Mom, seriously, so give me a second. Okay, she's out. And where was I? Oh, yeah, so she got it, and she didn't like it. And I'm like, oh. So the next I go into work, and she has it on my desk. I'm like, score. I love when she does that. But then I opened it, and I thought, oh, it's kind of cool. Brought it home, and I have to show you what I discovered it was good for. So here's a little video showing my new bag and what I'm using it for. My sister gave me this makeup bag, and I know that we've seen them before. She didn't like it, and I thought, you know what, I might use it. Then I was so excited because when I opened it, I thought, this is the bomb. This is so good. Look, it's perfect for 2 at a time socks. It's gonna be my forever sock bag because sometimes when you have a sock bag, the yarn is so far down in that when you start to pull it, it gets all tangled. But this yarn, the 2 little cakes fit right in. What I'm working on fits in one side. I have room for
I mean, it just is super organized. All my double point needles of the right size are in here. Everything slides right in. My little sock stitch markers. I always have this. I made these. They're little Kitchener, the cheat sheet. I have the pattern. It just folds right in. More stitch markers. My stoppers. My row gauge. In here, it's a plastic centerpiece, and I have my scissors and a pencil. That should go in there. I mean, I was like, are you sure you don't want this? Or should I buy you one? Because I think it is the best thing ever. And they're not expensive, I don't think. I think they're on Amazon for about $14. But it's lightweight. So it fits right in any place I want to be.
Is that not the coolest? It's so cool. I love this so much for a lot of reasons. Number one, like I said, it keeps things organized. It just folds open and closes shut, and then I can put the whole thing right in my tote bag for work or whatever, and it's light. I know I've seen some leather ones before at knit shops, and I think they're beautiful. I didn't know what they were used for. If I in my mind, I was thinking, how do you have that many accessories that you'd carry around? Or do people just store their things in? I couldn't figure out how they were used. I think this might be how they're used. I don't know, but putting those two little cakes in there and keeping everything organized and then folding it up. I get frustrated with sock bags because you have to stack things on top of each other if they're tall and narrow. And this just separated everything. It was amazing. So I will put a link to one. I'll try. They're just on Amazon, so they're inexpensive. But I just thought it was the bomb. I love it so much, and my socks will forever be in this. So I should have those socks done, hopefully by the end of the week. I just have about an inch left of the foot pattern, and then I have just the toe. So that won't take me. I'll have that done soon. And then I'm going to start on something else. I don't know what to start on. I bought in this little knit shop in Grapevine. I just don't usually go to knit shops that have this yarn that's in little balls, and they had this one, which is a Baby Soft Natural line, and it's cotton and bamboo. Cotton and soybean. But look at the color. Oh, you can see it in the light. Can I get that light on there again? Maybe not. The sun's it's kind of cool out here with the sun and the different angles. I hope you can see me okay. Oh, brother. There we go. But it was just this really pretty pink, and the bamboo makes it a little bit shiny. So I thought I only have 600 yards of this. So I need to find a vest or a short sleeve shirt to make with it. And I can't decide if I should. Most of the vests that I like that I've seen are DK. And this is sport, which is I looked for an hour last night. It's kind of hard to find vest patterns in sport that will only take 600 yards. So I have two options. I can either do the Switcheroo and make a vest, change the DK pattern to the sport, which wouldn't be hard, or I can make an open meshy vest and just make sure I wear something under it, which would be pretty too and would go super fast. So I have two options, but that's my next thing. I have no idea what I'm making. You can certainly comment in and tell me what you would like me to make. I got this. I brought this out because I bought this at Old Navy. It's so cute, and I wore it on my business trip with some cream linen pants. I like this big Aran-y. It's just a big vest. Let's see, you can't even see it. I love the color. Isn't it pretty? It's cotton or something. I don't even know what it is. But that would be an option, but I need a smaller gauge. So, next. I found a podcaster that I really like, and she had a really cool podcast. I just kind of fell into her and the episode that I watched, and her name is Rita, and her podcast is called Truly Myrtle. I think her last name is Myrtle because she always talks about Mr. Myrtle. So I think her name is, her name isn't Rita. That's the pattern name. Her name is Libby. Libby Myrtle is her name. This pattern that she was doing is called Rita. Sorry about that, Libby. But I think her name is Libby Myrtle because she always refers to Mr. Myrtle as her husband, which would make sense. But the cool thing, it's not just a vest pattern. I'm going to put a link to this particular podcast because it was about mixing yarns, like your scrap yarns, scrap busting, which I love, to make this vest. So it's an Aran weight vest, I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure. I watched it right after my last podcast, and I contacted her and said, oh my gosh, where have you been? I want to share some things from your podcast. Is that okay? And let's see, gauge. Yeah, 12 stitches. 12 stitches and 4 inches. So it's pretty, it's a pretty chunky, it's bulky actually. It's a bulky weight. That's what it is. Okay, now that we have it. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't do this after work, you guys. Kind of brain fried. But what she did is that she talked about taking yarn that you had in your stash and pulling it together to make a bulky weight, whether it be, a worsted and a DK and whatever it takes to make it. But she actually did demonstrations on how it changed things by just changing the mohair or changing the whatever. And I need you to go watch this because it's super, super cool. I just grab things in my yarn room just really quick. And now that I get them out in the light, they look terrible. But for instance, she'd grab 3 things like this that kind of don't look like they wouldn't go together. Maybe they might complement each other. Like 2 yarns and then a mohair. And she shows you on the podcast what it looks like. And it is so cool. I just was mesmerized just watching her change things up. And so I got another couple here that would be really pretty. So like these kind of complement each other, but then she'd throw in something that you think, oh wow, that maybe doesn't look so good, but it actually might. Let's see. Anyway, so I contacted her, and she has not only a website, but you can subscribe to her newsletter, and she has something called a toolbox, which she puts tips and tricks. She's a pattern writer. She's very, very well versed in the knitting world. She's from New Zealand, and she had this sheet that was called the Stash Busting Worksheet, and she talked about color dominance and how actually to choose the different yarns, what happens when you pick this and that, how to do the math, what yarns go together to make the bulky weight, how to cast on in aligning the strands to cast on. It's so good. And so this was only available for a short time, so I emailed her and I said, is there any way that that my viewers can go get this sheet to her website? And she said, yes, of course. How nice. And so there is a link to do that. Now I haven't had time to even think about knitting this, but I'm going to do it. But I wanted to share it so that you guys could go there and check out that website and see if there's something that you couldn't pull from your stash. And I'd love to see pictures if you do it. And I'm sure she would too. It's so cool. I know, I feel very unorganized because I have some pretty big news that I'm saving for the end that may or may not shock you, but I don't know, you guys, I'm kind of a crazy person. Ugh. I feel like if I say it, it has to be, so I'm kind of nervous to say it on tape and stick to my guns. There are a couple new patterns that I want to share that I like. This new one out from Isabel Kramer, Forellano, I don't know how to say it. It's probably Italian. I think it's so pretty. And actually, you know what? I'll put a picture up of it because when I put them up like this, you can't really see them. And then this isn't a new pattern, but I want to make the Ivy tee from Petite Knit. It's a fingering weight tee, raglan. It's the type I like, so I'll put a picture up of that. So again, just on the radar. But I don't know about you guys. I am really debating. I have decided to do this, but I was really debating whether I should start winter knitting. I knit pretty far in advance because by the time the weather comes, I'm ready to wear it. I don't want to finish something and not be able to wear it, but I think this I could even wear into September. It is a very pretty color. I love it. I have a notebook, so I want to make sure I talked about everything. I think I did. I wanted to talk about, you guys, I bought no yarn this month. Partly because I was on a business trip, my sister, and then the next weekend, last weekend, both my kids came home. They haven't been home together since Christmas, and it was wonderful. My daughter just was in literally for almost 24 hours, but my son stayed 2 or 3 days. My son's doing an internship in Los Angeles, and my daughter still lives in Phoenix. I'm not sure she's coming home. She just signed a new lease on her apartment. But I did buy some needles. I watched a YouTube video on these, what are they called? Flex tips, these Addy Flex tips. And since I've kind of gotten into double point needles, I don't know if you guys have seen them. I watched a YouTube video and an Instagram post, and I thought, you know, I'm going to get those. It's the only thing I bought. Isn't that crazy? I'm proud of myself. I wanted to give a shout out to Lori from Parker, who was also one of the winners from my contest, which was crazy. She made me this little cat bag, and that when I saw her, she came up. She was one of the people that came up to see me, and I had it out, and I forgot to tell you guys, it's the cutest. And I have not wanted to use it yet until I showed you, so now I can take the tag off and use it. I'm so excited to use it. It is perfect. Thank you, Lori. I wanted to give you a shout out for that. I also wanted to tell you about little tools that I used for my vest. I forgot to tell you about those. When you have to seam things together, and it can be a sweater, or in this case, it was so open, it was hard to get together. There are these little knit clips. I don't know if you've ever seen them. But how they work is you can hold your fabric, your pieces together however you want, and then seam them. And that was slick. I had only used them once before. It has one little tooth that goes in, and you could also use hair clips, you know, the little claws. But this worked great, and I wanted to share those because those were super cool. They're called knit clips. Okay. A lot of you guys asked about the mom cat on the, you know, I'm fostering 4 kittens. If you missed last episode, my neighbor had a feral, very feral mom, excuse me, jet black mama cat under her house. And one of the neighbors said, "You have a cat under your house." So she spotted the kittens, and they were like literally teeny kittens. They must have been about 3 weeks old when we first spotted them. They were very unstable, maybe 4 weeks, but very feral. And the mom moved them 3 times. We contacted a feral agency here in Colorado, and they came for hours and hours on end to try, and just standing there trying to catch them. And they were so good at it. And the poor lady who caught him, this young lady, she said, "I've never had this much problem catching cats. They catch like 17 a night in like industrial places and stuff, and they catch them, they spay and neuter them, and if they're feral, they have to let them go, because if they're adults, apparently it is like almost impossible to domesticate them. But they can't have any more kittens, which is great. Well, you asked about the mom. The mom had already been caught and spayed and was so wild she was released, and so she still lives in the hood. One of the ladies that lives across the way has been feeding her since January, we find out, and her named her Winter, but she's jet black and is not approachable. but she no longer has to take care of the kittens. It was really heartbreaking when they caught them, because you can imagine, I mean, my heart was breaking for her. She'd moved them 3 times. She was such a good mom trying to protect them. And the kittens were so wild. I mean, they were untouchable, and we couldn't get close. They were only this big, teeny. But there were 4 and in a pack. And I'm just going to tell you that I think fostering is a scam, because they tell you, love them. It's called forced love. Force love them. Force love them. Hold them. And so we literally were in there. We were wearing them out every 30 minutes. We'd go in that room. First they were in a big, dog carrier. Then we hung hammocks in there. Then we would gradually. Then we'd do the potato or burrito, what they call them, where you wrap them in a towel and you rub their faces. We were relentless, and we loved them. Then they said, give them a name. Give them a name so that they're easy to adopt, if they have a name. So the black kitty we named Dickens, because he was the Dickens. He was the one that was always out over at my neighbor's house. He was just the Dickens. And his little mate, who was close to the little gray kitty, we called her Bronte. And there were 2 tigers. We named them Raj and Sarge. And so that's also a scam. So what do you think's happening at my house right now? I'm not giving away those kittens. And there, I've said it. Oh, I've gone back and forth. And I have 2 older cats, right? 2 geriatric cats. And we are geriatric cat rescuers. That's our goal in life, is to be rescuers of old cats that no one else wants and that have been abandoned or are sick. And that's what we do. Well, now we have 4 kittens. I'm going to put up a couple. I don't even know how we got there, but I think we've both fallen in love with them. And they move as a pack. They play as a pack, they eat as a pack, they sleep as a pack, and I cannot separate them. I cannot take them to PetSmart, which is how the rescue finds home for them, and have them be picked over and touched, and I can't do it. So I'm saddled with 4 more cats for 20 years, because that's how long our cats live. And I did call our cat sitter, and she's an angel, and I think she's okay with it. These 4 can't go outside, obviously. Not for a long time anyway, because they're dying to go outside. In fact, one day I was out here knitting, and it gets dark. I have lights in my patio, and I'm out here knitting, and I hear all this rustling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there is a bear, or there is something. There's a big raccoon, there's a bear, and it wasn't stopping. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm tiptoeing over to where I thought it was, and I go to the kitty's room. They have my whole husband's office, because remember, we're in construction, so it had the protection board down and everything. So we just thought, this is perfect for a couple weeks till they can be adopted. So it's their room, and for the moment anyway. And I had opened the window, and all 4 kittens were stuck to the screen, like hanging, like they wanted out. This was early on. So now they're good. We can open all the windows, and they're screened in, and they're fine. And they have full run of the house. They have been so good. They have used the litter box from the beginning. No messes, no destruction. They are so cute, and they play with each other. I think it's because they have each other. They're not doing naughty things. They did kind of get into a big plant and just kind of discover dirt, but that's now protected too. So I am the crazy cat lady. And it's good and bad. I had no intention, and I really wrestled with, gosh, we just do not need to be saddled with 4 cats for 20 years. And we have these old ones, and we tend, they're 13, the ones that we've had for 5 years. The other ones have died, and we were going to get 2 more old ones that maybe were bonded. But the old cats have accepted these new ones. They don't love them, but they're getting closer and closer. I'm going to put up a picture now of the eating stall that we've designed so that they can all eat together, because I want to try and integrate them. So that's my big news, is I am a crazy cat lady. A funny story to go with that is, my kids knew that we were trying to adopt them out, and I wanted to keep them in pairs. I made flyers, cute flyers. I'll put a picture up of the flyer, begging to be, give away the bonded pairs. So how they kind of had, they're all 4 bonded, but they kind of are in sets, the 2 tigers and then Dickens and Bronte. And so I sent it to my sister, Mom, or my daughter, and she's like, Mom, you're a marketer. You'd be able to get rid of my I sent it to everyone I knew, every club, my Bible study, everyone. And it's kitten season here, so not a lot of takers. And so I told my daughter when she was coming home, I said, well, she said, are the kittens still there? And I said, yeah, they'll be here when you come. And she said, you haven't found anyone? I said, oh yeah, one person's taken them all. And she's like, you're kidding. And I said, no, really, seriously. It's a lady, and she's a crazy cat lady apparently, but she's nice and she's funny and she loves cats. They're going to have a great life. And she's like, wow, that's amazing. Literally, it was the day she was leaving that she caught on it was me. She's like, Mom, you're the crazy cat lady. And I said, yes, I am. But I have an enabler husband too. He's so good with them and he loves them and he can't keep off them either. They're so sweet. We love it. We love animals. And I want to tell you, I love all of you guys that are rescuers. Thank you for rescuing. Thank you for rescuing animals. Dogs, cats. I am not a fan of buying pets. I know people do, and if you do, that's okay. But I just want to tell you, I looked up how many pets are euthanized in the United States before I got on here. And this is a number that I would have never, ever thought possible. And apparently it's down a little bit. 920,000 cats and dogs are euthanized every year in the United States. That broke my heart. More cats than dogs, double the amount of cats than dogs. So there are so many pets, and it's a fallacy that they come with baggage. No, they don't. They come with so much love. We've never had an old rescue cat that we have not been able to that has made a mess or that has nothing. They are so grateful. They love you so much. So thank you if you are a rescuer. Please consider rescuing rather than buying. You guys, I don't have a beauty hack. I've been too busy. I've had kittens and company and business trip, and so I don't have a beauty hack. I kind of have a couple, but I'm not prepared. It's nighttime. I have to sign off, and I hope you guys enjoy mixing your yarns together. Please go to Truly Myrtle and figure out how to grab all your yarn together. Let me tell you what this makes really quick. How many yards you need. And there were a couple options too with finishing and cropped or not. So the long version starts at 295 yards. So we all have that. And the cropped version starts at 195. So we have that amount of yarn. Oh, you guys, look, she has a pin on. We're twins. Libby, we're twins. Look at us. Yay. I love pins. I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it so much. I'm glad that we have the friendship, and I do feel like I have a friendship with you guys. I feel a connection, so thank you. That's it for me now. I will sign off and hopefully not wait so gosh darn long before I'm on again. But I say that and it never happens. Until next time.